In this series, we're going to go over one of the sweet spot variants for the all-new Maserati Grecale here at Maserati at Tampa. And we have Modena limited edition in Grigio Lava over Nero Rossa. And the interior will have all of the latest updates because we have tech package, we have the premium package. This is going to be a little bit more special than just a standard Modena. And I will be comparing this against BMW, Porsche, Mercedes, and Audi to show you why the Modena is a sweet spot for the Grecale. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The Maserati Grecale Modena starts off paying heritage to all of the Maseratis. The front is the MC20, low-mounted grille, high-mounted LED signature headlights, modern oval logo with the long front end, a front track at 63.8 inches. The Trident grille and headlights all project a 3D function, flowing out the shape of the grille to proportion out the body and cabin to the rear. Wheel arches start where the headlamp assembly is, bringing heritage to the 450S, the birdcage, and the new MC20. And when you're looking at the Porsche, you're going to have similar attributes to the front of this. It's going to be a bit more aggressive and you're under a six-figure price tag. And that's, for a Maserati, a really good price. When you get into the Trofeo, obviously that's going to touch bases right at $100,000, but it's going to even look more aggressive. The limited edition includes these 21-inch upgraded wheels with your adaptive air suspension, red brake calipers, the disc behind it at 13.8 inches, the rear at 13 inches, a double wishbone front suspension with a multi-link rear suspension with sky hook dampers, Q4 all-wheel drive system. Drive modes include your Comfort, GT, and Sport. And you have that Sport or Fastback design. So the coupe structure is implemented for the first time in a smaller SUV opposed to the Levante. So consider this the smaller brother of the Levante, a length at 190.8 with a wheelbase at 114.2 inches. Blacked out Trident badging, gloss black on the lower roof spoiler. The rear is inspired by the 3200 GT with the boomerang-shaped LED taillights, a rear track at 66.7 inches, towing over 5,500 pounds with a payload over 1,400 pounds. You get the blacked out exhaust tips because this is the Modena. It's going to have more performance underneath it. Power liftgate going into nearly 20 cubic feet of storage. You have a 12 volt right here, LED interior lights underneath. You'll have some storage that's around your battery casing. Split fold the rear bench in the back at a 60-40 split or 40-20-40 split, increasing the cargo to the Grecale. But this has a little bit more performance underneath it than your GT. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust now. It's not your traditional Maserati exhaust note, but you wouldn't expect that out of a Turbo 4 with hybrid technology. But Maserati backs the performance. So the 2.0 liter Turbo L4 mild hybrid EV engine producing 325 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, achieving 22 to 29 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 either under 4 seconds or over 5 seconds with a quarter mile between 11.6 and 13.4 seconds. Top speed can reach up to 177 miles per hour with the Trofeo. And what these numbers tell me is that it's not going to be the fastest variant in its class. If you go up to the Trofeo, that's going to be a sweet spot really, because you get the MC20 engine detuned, which is crazy considering that car is around $300,000 and the MSRP on the Trofeo for this would be about $102,000. When you get into this, you're going to get more elegance. It's going to be a little bit better with the suspension and handling and the geometry of the vehicle. But going against the rivals, it's not going to pack that same performance numbers, but the drive is still going to be something special because it's a Maserati. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 Maserati Grecale Modena as we go inside, go over the tech, and take this for our drive. Going inside, the Modena Grecale is going to have a lot more plush materials. Headroom is perfectly fine for someone 6'3". The same thing with leg space, and this is the best in class for head and leg space. 14-way power seat adjustment. They're heated, ventilated, manual cushion extensions for the front seats. For the Modena, the interior gets livened up with the Rosa, and we have the heads-up display, which is humongous. It shows everything on that cluster for your navigation. With the digital Maserati clock, the air vents are more sport-derived, and you get full premium leather, copper yarn carbon, dual 12-inch and an 8.8-inch Maserati Intelligent Assist. Includes your navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, Maserati Connected Service, Alexa built-in, Wi-Fi hotspot, Sonos Fiber sound system. You have your performance page here, which goes to your gauges, your history, your torque management, your drag race. You can do pretty much everything here, even your off-roading. Push it into reverse. We have a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory, and we have different camera layouts to make it easy so you don't hit any imperfections with your upgraded wheels. The lower screen is an 8.8-inch derived for your heated, ventilated seats, your heated steering wheel, your tri-climate control settings to turn on and off your lights. Pretty much every single thing is derived in here. You can also turn the auto start on and off. You can go into your ambient lighting here to make it more bright, and you can change the layout to that as well. You can adjust that suspension, and this is the third climate control and the heated rear seats, which you can sync to the driver preference. Whenever you click onto these, this is for your second seat adjustment for the side bolstering to make it more sport derived. Click here and you can change that clock from classic, sport. You can also do the compass, your G-force, and underneath you'll have your wireless charging pad with a storage pocket that has been cleaned up because the gear lever is a push button here with a USB-A and C port, the new Maserati key fob, your cup holders, and it's going to be more soft for your elbows. Open up inside to a 12-volt, and it's a pretty deep storage pocket. 3-spoke leather wrap steering wheel. It's a flat bottom with the push button start multi-function, and your driver mode select with the large paddle shifters. The driver mode select will change that TFT display so you can change from sport, GT, comfort, or off-road. You can also toggle through here and change out the cluster layout to make it classic or relaxed. You can change for your G-force here, your compass, the temperature, your MPGs, pretty much an array of information for the driver on the side. Copper yarn carbon inlays with the contrast with the Rosso and the 14 speaker setup. I do like the pattern that goes in here, and it's all soft materials. One touch up and down for all the windows, a smaller storage pocket in the push to get out, where you have your little lever. For the back seat, headroom is absolutely no problem, nor is leg space, and the pano is pretty large for the size of the car. The door panel gets the same materials as the front, the push to get out, all soft materials with a smaller storage pocket. The center gets your tri-climate control, heated seats, USB-A and C port, storage behind both of the front seats. Sitting into the center, headroom is no issue, nor is leg space, and that's the best thing about the Grecale. Fitting adults 6'3", you can fit 3 of us in the back, my dimensions, without any issues. 325 horsepower. Is this the sweet spot underneath the Trofeo? Well, when you get it fully loaded, this is basically near empty for Trofeo because you're around $90,000. So it is something to take in consideration if you want that detuned MC20 engine. As for the clearance though, 8 inches is awesome. Interior specs, I like when it's fully loaded because you have all the functionality. You also have manual cushion extensions, which you do not get that in the GT unless you start adding premium features. The heads-up display, it's large. You're not going to be able to see it with polarized glasses. Going against the competition, what does it look like? Well, the price tag does escalate quite a bit, but it's also a Maserati. So you have to start taking these things in consideration. And I do like the steering wheel, even though it's derived out of the Alfa Romeo parts bin. It's a flat bottom. It's more sport derived. You got the push button start, over 330 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 numbers are not going to be the fastest, unfortunately. But again, if you go into the Trofeo, you're getting under 4 seconds 0 to 60. Not trying to sound like a broken record, but when you get this is more of your everyday vehicle. You're getting better MPGs, and you still have some performance drive behind it. The dynamics to it, which you're about to see, red light, green light, let's go. It's still good. Quiet inside. You do feel some of the ride. It's going to be a little bit more bumpy. And you get the exhaust that filters in. That's going to take me to some things I like and dislike, and that's what we're going to go over right now. Starting off with what I like. When you get into the Modena, it's night and day difference from the GT. I kind of wish this was the base model because you have a lot more power underneath it. It feels more athletic, and the interior is a lot more plush. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is the heads-up display. It's not only humongous, but it shows everything that you need to make it more simplified for your daily use. As for your brakes, I'm gonna check that right now. It brakes good. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to receive about 3 lanes. It's not that tight, but let's give her a go. The happy medium though is really over 2 RPMs for this turbo to liven up. The last thing that I like is in every single row I can fit, and it's really designed for somebody that's around 6'5". So that is awesome because this is a small SUV. I know it's still over 190 inches of length. However, when you get that slope roof line, you usually can't fit somebody my dimensions in the back. 3 things that I dislike has to start off with the infotainment screen. I like it, don't get me wrong, but every single thing is derived into it, even your automatic lights. The second thing that I dislike is the push button to put it into gear. I would like it to be for the paddles at least, and then do this. That way it feels more sporty. And the last thing that I dislike is there's just too much gloss black. So you're going to be constantly cleaning it off because it just leaves fingerprints everywhere. It looks good, don't get me wrong, it's just they went a little bit too much. In comfort mode, the engine kind of dies. It's really sluggish. If you want to really liven it up, you want to probably keep it in GT or Sport, and then it just is ready and more athletic. Going back to the rival perspective, this is a great choice, don't get me wrong, if you're wanting to get your feet wet with the Maserati brand. It's just the MSRP starts suggesting that it should have more horsepower and torque. And when you're comparing this against a Porsche, a BMW, Audi, or Mercedes, that's what happens when you start going up the tier. You get a lot more performance numbers, but I mean, the fun to drive is there, and it is a practical car, so you have that everyday feel to it as well. It just would be nice if they gave it a little bit more horsepower and torque. The cool thing though is you can option the Trofeo and get that detuned MC20. I'd like to thank Maserati of Tampa for giving us this 2023 Maserati Grecale for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the merchandise, website, and Instagram, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.